Captain Elena Vasquez stared at the holographic display floating above her command console, watching the skeletal forms of the Kethmiron ships drift through the asteroid field like ghosts haunting a graveyard. Their vessels, once proud and gleaming, now bore the scars of decades spent scavenging in the forgotten corners of the galaxy. "Ma'am," the Galactic Council's response just came through. Lieutenant Chun announced from the communications station, his voice tight with barely contained disgust. "They're refusing humanitarian aid." Again, Elena's jaw clenched. The Council's message was predictably clinical. The Kethmiron species lacks strategic value to galactic security. Resources must be allocated to more pressing concerns. It had been the same response for 37 years, ever since the Kethmiron homeworld had been consumed by their dying star. The galaxy's major powers had written them off as evolutionary dead ends. A species whose psychic abilities had atrophied, whose technology had stagnated, whose population had dwindled to fewer than 50,000 scattered across makeshift colonies. "Set course for their lead vessel," Elena commanded, "and patch me through to Admiral Hayes." The hologram of Admiral Sarah Hayes materialized moments later, her weathered face bearing the weight of commanding Earth's deep space humanitarian fleet. "I know that look, Elena. What's the Council done now?" "The same thing they always do. Nothing." Elena's fingers drummed against her armrest. "The Kethmiron are facing complete societal collapse. Their food synthesizers are failing, their atmospheric processors are breaking down, and they're too proud to beg for scraps from the species that abandoned them." Hayes nodded grimly. "And Earth stands alone in caring about a dying race, as the Altarians so eloquently put it in last month's session." Elena had studied the records obsessively. 40 years ago, the Kethmiron had been among the galaxy's most gifted terraformers, their natural empathy with planetary ecosystems allowing them to transform barren worlds into gardens. But their gentle nature had made them easy targets when the resource wars erupted. Stronger species had taken their colonies, enslaved their people, or simply driven them away. Now they survived on the margins, too weak to fight back, too scattered to rebuild, slowly watching their ancient culture fade into memory. "Permission to proceed with Operation Sanctuary, Admiral." Hayes was quiet for a long moment. "You know what this means, Elena. The Council will impose sanctions on Earth. Our trade agreements with the hegemony will be jeopardized. The President is already getting pressure from the corporate lobbies." "I know." Elena watched as her ship's massive cargo bay doors began to cycle open, revealing tons of medical supplies, food processors, and portable habitat modules. "But that's what makes us human, isn't it? We protect those who can't protect themselves." The lead Kethmiron vessel, Whisper of Lost Winds, responded to their hail with characteristic caution. The alien who appeared on screen had the elongated features and silver-white skin of his species, but his large eyes held a depth of weariness that spoke of too many disappointments. "Captain Vasquez of Earth," he said in accented standard. "I am Nethral, speaker for the Wandering Fleet. We were not expecting any response to our distress signal." "Earth always responds, Speaker Nethral. We're here to offer aid. No strings attached." The alien's composure cracked slightly. "The Council species mock us. They call us evolutionary refuse. Why would Earth risk its standing for our sake?" Elena leaned forward. "Because 40 years ago, when the Danubian plague was ravaging our outer colonies, it was Kethmiron healers who came to our aid. Because when we were nobody in this galaxy, struggling to find our place among ancient civilizations, your people showed us kindness." Nethral's hand moved to his chest in what Elena recognized as a gesture of deep gratitude among his people. "But more than that," Elena continued, "we help because it's right, because every species deserves a chance to survive, to grow, to contribute something unique to the galaxy's story." As the first transport shuttles began ferrying supplies to the Kethmiron vessels, Elena felt the familiar weight of humanity's self-imposed burden. They might be economically punished, diplomatically isolated, or militarily threatened for this choice. But watching the Kethmiron children press their faces against observation ports, seeing wonder replace despair in their ancient eyes, Elena knew they would make the same choice every time. The galaxy might forget its weakest members, but humanity would remember.